we're moving on. May we be loved.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice sentiment after that,
I
isn't
know.
it? May we be loved.
And this song was written in the very first launch pad, which was my attic studio in Bristol. There's been 3, kind of 2.5. There was a room in the middle which I didn't like. I didn't write any songs in it. And I just remember sitting in my little chair in the corner very early in the morning, fiddling around on the guitar, and this whole thing came out pretty much, not all the verse lyrics, but the whole melody and everything.
Is it, well, when I first heard this, immediately I could imagine it being played in a church. I mean, I've been to a few gigs at places like St Pancras Church in London and the Union Chapel, and there's another one in Bethnal Green, St John's of Bethnal Green, where I saw Christian Hirsch do an amazing gig. And there's something about the acoustics in churches that really suits some songs. There's some kinds of songs that work especially well in those spaces, and I think this is that kind of song. And I was wondering, when you're writing something, do you ever have like a sense of space when you're doing it? Do you kind of imagine a space like that?
Sometimes. I did with the last song on this record.
Right.
But we'll talk about that when it comes around. I didn't with this particularly. We were talking about it at lunchtime. I like to not restrict myself to what I think I can perform live later, if I choose to do that. Because I want to just be able to be as bonkers and creative and odd as I like. And then, if I end up doing shows, I'll figure it out, or figure out versions of them.
Sure.
But I see what you mean in terms of like thinking of a space. I think I just think of the space of the song as a recording. I don't think of it in real space, like real time and space now, because I layer everything. There's never any sense of like this was done in a room with a bunch of people and can only happen in this one way, because it's all collaged together.
No, I don't think I was thinking that so much. It was more because this song sounds so much to me like the kind of song that would work in a church, and it sounds like it is in a church. The kind of reverb, that kind of the particular kind of space around it sounds like the kind of sound you get in a church. And I was wondering if that was a deliberate thing, like you were.
I see what you mean.
That you were imagining yourself in a church and thinking, right, I need to make it sound like that.
I never imagined myself in a church.
Fair enough.
I've performed in churches. That's it's fine. It's not a place that comes into my mind ever. No.
But this one, I think is quite cinematic. I said that I often imagine like films or dramas or whatever when I'm listening to stuff. But this one in particular, I feel like I'm in the cinema, and it's like not quite the end credits. It's like a closing little thing where the dialogue's dropped away, and I don't know, there's people, moving through fields and stuff, and this is the nice little end credits song. Yeah. And then it's going to fade to dark, and then the actual credits are going to happen. That's what I'm seeing. But it does feel...
You've made it sound very, very pleasant again, where it's about death. So, I mean...
Well, it might be a film about death.
Illness and hard times.
But if you have a film about illness and death
genocide,
and hard times...
etc.
You do have to, we don't have to, but very often there'll be a little sense at the end of the film of like, that was all very terribly sad, wasn't it? But we're going to have a nice mellow song that's sad. Yeah. Just to make you feel soothed.
Well, I wanted it to be soothing, that's the point. So the sentiment, may we be loved, is, I've spent a lot of time in hospitals over the past couple of years visiting an elderly relative who's gone through all sorts of terrible things. And, the amount of people I've seen in those wards and A&E and all that, and that's where this song, that's where the lyrics came from. I'd written the melody and the main sentiment before that, but then that's what it's become, is this like, whatever hard times we're experiencing, whatever illnesses we're experiencing, all the things that pile up on you, all the things that are going on in the big, wide, scary world, which just seem to be getting more and more and more and more terrible, all of those things, amongst all of that, the simple thing is just, may we be loved. Because, my God, like, what's going on? And there's so much we can't do a single thing about, and there's so much stuff that we feel that we should be able to do things about, and we can't, and we feel guilty, and we, all sorts of things. I felt horrendously guilty through a lot of the COVID, the severe COVID times, because people were getting ill and dying, and I felt guilty for surviving that, which is, we talked about that at the time. Sometimes your only job as a human is to survive. I remember you very wisely said that to me.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I did want to make something that's soothing.
Soothing
and,
is the perfect word. I've realised, going back to the Life of the Party, when I was saying that it sounded all, I was conjuring up those beautiful scenes, and you were like, if you listen to the lyrics, Charlie.
I think it's in the light sometimes, you thought. Was
oh,
like,
sorry, sorry. Yeah. That's what I love about this album, actually. Because, you know, that song and other songs on the album that have got quite dark lyrics, but the music is soothing, and I love that juxtaposition, and especially given, as we said right at the start, you open the album with that really intense sort of motif that is very, you know, it sounds urgent, and it sounds like panic. It sounds really like something bad might happen, and then you go, okay, well, it's not bad. It's all right. And then you go, like, even through, like I say, through the dark subject matter. Musically, most of it is either upbeat or soothing. It's only the very beginning of the album where you're like, things could be intense.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even talk about like what that song is about, did we, at the beginning? Because I opened the whole album with a hectic line, like an intense line, which is, after the disorder, reality lies. And that's a double meaning. So reality is lying to you, and it's also reality lies, you know, is there.
Yeah.
And the main sentiment of the song House of Stories, and therefore the album, is, it says, don't stop, you're a house of stories. Stay clear because we need you now. And I want to put that reminder of personal power onto everybody, like, and whatever's going on, we do need everybody to keep themselves well and as well as they can, and to survive the hard times. But also, it is very intense, and that's all inspired by the situation with my grandma as well, and seeing all these people in, you know, various stages of terrible, painful suffering in hospitals over the last few years. So after the really hard times, you think you're going to get a break, but oh no, oh no, there's always going to be more and more and more shit going on, and you just have to keep going, or try to keep going. That's why I want to start off with that very clear message.
Yeah, it's because it would be disingenuous, really, to just have a kind of happy and soothing album, wouldn't it? So I love that but I love that you draw everyone in with the big kind of like dramatic, intense thing, and then you go, musically, I'm gonna do something for your nervous system here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I do that on purpose. Like, I don't want people to listen to the album, walk away feeling horrendous and hopeless.
Yeah.
But I also think it would be, personally, irresponsible to just make a happy, jolly album in this climate that we're in, you know, in the world right now. It doesn't sit well with me to just make a party album. Yeah. I mean, it's not really my scene anyway, making party songs, I will say. I've never done it. And I'm not saying other people shouldn't do it. I know that, you know, music can be a release in all different kinds of ways. There's nothing wrong with cheering people up. I think with this, I chose to be honest and sort of soothe, but also be real about things, because that's just how I am. I can't pretend.